Welcome back, adventurers, to another episode of Curse of Strahd. When we left off last week, we were in the midst of battle with the Tree Blight, Winter Splinter, and 3 druids. So without further ado, let's get back to the fight. Where we left off, Davian Mardukov had jumped out of the window in his human form and broken an ankle in the process. Chucked a Molotov cocktail, if you will, more just a bottle of some very strong spirits, and it collided with the tree around the same time Artesia's chromatic orb hit the tree, and the tree goes up in flames. And that is where we left off. Let me get some music going here. That's probably not a good one for this. Let's do, yeah. So, as the tree goes up in flames and the druid's turn begins, or the druid's turn begins, the first thing that you notice, or before the druid's turn begins, I should say, the first thing that you notice is a flash of silver. All of you see it. It's almost obvious because you see the tree go up and there's this weird flash of silver that blinks from the top of the tree branches to the ground. And as it comes with a fairly heavy thud and hits the wet grass, you recognize this as the collar that had been around Artesia's neck. But instead of the gorget-like trap that it had been, it's opened up, and all of the ridges that had comprised the sides of this gorget collar thing have split apart, and it's got these 8 spindly legs. And you kind of remember it doing this when it first came off of her when she arrived. But at the time, it had a very deep purple gem in the center of it, if I remember correctly, if I remember the color correctly. Now, whatever it had been is gone, and it's replaced by a similar glow to the crystal that you see embedded within Winter Splinter, the Tree Blight itself. There is a green crystal embedded on the back of this metal spider. And as Artesia turns on her heel and screams with fear, this thing skitters across the ground. Kelvin, it will provoke an attack of opportunity.
Alright, let's see it. That's at a +1, so 17.
17, okay. Good swing, but not enough. This thing is incredibly fast, and it just across the ground, leaps at her, kind of like you would imagine a face hugger would, and just clamps onto the back of her neck. There's a brief skittering while it adjusts itself and clamps onto the front like it had before, and it sinks 2 fangs right around her larynx. And there is a flash, if you will, of shadow, and she is gone, along with the necklace.
Damn it!
The druids turn to the Tree Blight, and still chanting its name, start moving their hands in what you recognize spell casting patterns. Let me see. There it is. The somatic components of a spell. Yeah. So the 2 druids that walk up to Vin will cast Thunderwave at the same time. Vin, I need you to make 2 Constitution saving throws, please.
Alrighty. 23.
Yeah, you're okay.
And 16.
Very nice. Okay. Yeah, with that, you will take half damage from these 2. Give me your dice box. So I'll give you the total, and I'll let you half it this time. Because my brain has only so much capacity for math this eve.
Are you kidding me? My sinuses are blocked and I'm busy. And you expect me to do math? Okay.
Let's see here. Okay, so let's do that. So 6 from one, and 12 from the other, for a total of 18. So half of that would be
9.
Yeah. Okay, so
Okey-dokey.
take 9 points of thunder damage, and you are not pushed. And they both kind of look at each other, brief moment of panic, and then the druid in front of Kaidos will swing his shillelagh'd staff. Green d20 should work for that. Ooh, a natural 19. Let's see. Kaidos will take 4 points of bludgeoning damage. And that is it for the druids. It is Vin's turn.
Finn will grin at the 2 druids.
Okay.
Going for the one with my hunter's mark on it.
Okay.
2 attacks. Well, I don't think that's gonna hit. 14.
Not with their bark skin, no.
Okay, so that's a leaner. And 24.
Yes, that's definitely a hit.
Okay, so that's that plus that. $17.
17 points of damage. Very nice.
No, those were just the first 2. Now I do the third.
Yes.
My bonus attack. Come on. It will miss.
Okay.
I rolled a 5.
All right. Is that it for you?
That is it for me.
Excellent. Kelvin, you are ensnared by one ankle by the roots of this now on fire tree blight, and you can feel the heat coming off of this thing because it is dangerously close, but it's still kind of writhing in pain. So you're not taking any fire damage yet.
I see. So I'll use. I'm going to attack, but before I hold the mace, my morning star aloft, and I say, "I have seen your tree. I will make war paint of your ashes before I pillage it." And then in those words, the mace is wreathed in a bit of a light, and I have cast Wrathful Smite on my mace as
Okay.
a bonus action.
Nice.
So my next attack will have a bonus.
All
My
right.
next thing that hits, rather. So now I'm going to swing at the tree.
All right. Oh,
Wow, nice.
That's a 21.
oh, that's right. 17 was from the last one. At 21 is a definite hit.
All
Hard to
right,
miss a tree.
It takes 10 damage, and then it also takes an additional d6 psychic damage.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
So we're going to throw the d6 on that.
psychic.
So that's
is
d6
nice.
psychic damage. And I'll get you the spell block here. Give me just one sec.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going to be frightened.
Okay.
Wisdom save or be frightened
All right. Let's
until the spell ends, which is up to a minute.
Un momento.
And your DC is 14.
And it's you said it's a wisdom save?
Yes.
All right. It fails.
All right.
And it drops you, because I believe that is part of the rules for being frightened of something. You drop anything you're holding.
Oh,
This
I'll
one does
take it.
anyway. It's afraid of you, and it's damn sure not going to hold on to you. So the grapple
Yes.
releases, and it definitely seems like it's afraid of you.
And then I'll double down and just come back with, I'll follow through and then come with another swing.
Sure.
That's crit.
Beautiful.
Oh, very
Beautiful.
nice.
So, there you go. 11 damage.
All right.
Just crack-ow!
There is
And
a
when I crit,
reverberation.
I figure it's starting to burn where I hit it, right?
Yeah.
And so when I hit, I take some ash with it, and as I take the ash, I take my other hand and pull some of the ash off of the head of the Morning Star and put it on my face.
Nice. Man keeps his promises. All right.
Yeah.
As you come into contact with the ash and as you spread it on your face, two things. You hear, this actually happens before you get to the ash. You hear, all of you do, what sounds like very distinct applause from a singular entity somewhere. You don't know where, it just seems to echo through the area, and it's got like a golf clap kind of quality to it. It's slow and it's quiet. Yeah. And then the next thing that happens when you spread the ash on your face, you do get a flash again of that even bigger than this tree that you're fighting now, and massive, black and twisted, the Golthias tree on some hill far to the south of you. And as it reaches out, basically semi-connected with the psychic damage and with you physically, in touch with this thrall of it, you hear it scream, "Come then!" And then the vision basically flickers away, and you are back here. Anything else for your turn?
No. Well, one thing, I will make sure that I am positioned as squarely as I can between the tree and the winery.
Excellent.
Like, I am putting myself directly between the two, such that because he is frightened, he cannot move towards me, which means he cannot move towards the winery.
Okay. Yeah, you're pretty good right where you're at the moment. You intercepted him before he even got to the winery walls, and so pretty much, he would have been moving towards Central Mass eventually. So you're in a good spot right there. Kaido's 60 feet out there with your singular druid. To you.
Alright.
Did your baby just cackle with you?
Yeah.
Yes! That is the best!
She's cackling in the hallway. Like my backup cackle?
Yes. Awesome. It's amazing.
Okay. I'm going for a hit with my quarterstaff.
The first one will be a miss.
That's a miss, huh?
Yeah.
Well, because I have a newly discovered extra attack. Well, let's do that again.
That's right, with that level.
Whoa!
Womp womp.
Oh dear.
Any bonus actions?
So, yeah, I'm gonna spend a key point trick to do 2 unarmed strikes as my bonus action.
Oh, there it is.
That's the first one.
Very nice. Very nice.
And so the staff isn't quite doing it for me, so out comes the palm. And then the second one, I'm guessing, is a miss as well.
Yeah, because of that bark skin, it doesn't quite connect. But yeah, the palm strike to the underside of the nose kind of thing.
Yep. And so here's what we do. We do
Nice.
6 plus 1.
Mm-hmm.
And it says here with my open hand technique, whenever you hit a creature with one of the attacks granted by your flurry of blows, you can impose one of the followings.
Beautiful.
It must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or be knocked prone. It must make a strength saving throw. If it fails, you can push it 15 feet away from me. Well, I'm not necessarily interested in pushing it right now, so I'm going to go. It's got to succeed on a dexterity saving throw or be knocked prone.
This should be cute.
It can't take reactions until the end of your next turn.
It just flat out can't.
Yeah, that's just. Well, I don't know. Wait a minute. That might be one of the. That might be one of the
choices,
effects.
yeah.
There are 3. I guess there are 3 choices
Okay.
here. Is that? Did I do it? No.
It sounds like that's what that is. That's a third choice. So you still want to knock him prone?
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to go with prone.
Okay, cool. Well.
Because that's vulnerable.
Yeah, it doesn't really have like bullet points, but I'm pretty sure that's what that is. So that's another choice. So yeah, it will try and make this druid will attempt to make a dexterity saving throw.
Yeah, no, I just copied it word for word from the book.
Cool. And what's your DC?
DC is that's my dexterity?
I'm not sure.
No.
It has something to do with your open hand technique. So it's probably like the heading of that for open hand. Let me grab the PHP real quick.
Oh, I think it's 12.
Nah, I think it's higher than that. It's got to be because it's probably based because it's a monk ability. I would be willing to bet it's based on your main ability. So let's see here. Monk. The learning experience for me too, because I do not know this class very well. So monk. Okay, monastic traditions. Wave the open hand. Okay.
The only reason I picked that was because my Hellish Rebuke has a DC 12.
Yeah, isn't Eric? You know Tieflings better than I do. Is the Hellish Rebuke based on just like your Constitution?
It's charisma save.
Oh, that's
save
charisma.
on the
Okay,
Hellish
yeah.
Rebuke.
For a monk, your wisdom is probably going to be what it is. So let's see.
Yeah, that would be wisdom.
Is it wisdom or dexterity?
I'd be willing to bet it's your wisdom for this DC.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's 14.
Okay. Then it does not make its saving throw. That's why I was like, it's right in that weird range where it's like, I don't think 12 is it. I bet it's higher. 14 or 15 at least. We'll double check that later.
My
'Cause I
dex
couldn't
is
find it in the
15
book.
and my wisdom is 14.
Okay.
Well,
but wouldn't he get
keep
proficiency
in
on it?
mind.
Go ahead.
Keep in mind, DCs I think are like 8 plus relevant modifier plus proficiency.
Right.
So if your DC, if your thing is a 14, then that would put you to +2. So it's 8 plus 2 is 10 plus proficiency at this level is what? 3.
3.
Oh, mine says
So that
2.
makes- with
For your proficiency?
well,
yeah, it should
yeah.
be 3.
Yeah, because we leveled to 5. Now, classes, yeah, everybody gets proficiency at the same rate, don't they?
Yeah. Yes.
So there you go. So your DC for wisdom would be 13.
Oh,
If-
13? You mean
Well-
15?
if,
8
okay,
and
so
2
what's
is
your
10 and 3 is 13. Okay,
yeah,
because my
eight and two is
current
10.
wisdom is 14.
Right.
It's based on your
The difference
modifier of it,
between-
though.
The difference between the modifier and the DC, I mean, really just roll with it for now, you know. But if you'd like, I can hammer it out with you later.
Sure.
Yeah, and I've got to look that up in the book too to see, like, because it doesn't clearly say right by way of the open hand what the DC is based on or anything. So it must be earlier in the class. So I'll just read through that later and figure out what that is. But anyway, hit fails. So he is knocked prone. And that does it for your turn, right, Kodos?
Yeah.
Okay. So Druid is on his butt. Let me turn his token sideways here. There we go. And we are to the Tree Blight, which simply attempts to flee. Kelvin will get an attack of opportunity.
Okay. Just 1 minute.
Leaves your threatened square.
Well, as it attempts to.
Attempts to.
And I say,
Indeed.
are you leaving so soon? I haven't collected enough ash yet. As I swing.
Okay. Nice.
If
Yeah,
I
it's a
hit, its movement is halted.
It goes nowhere.
Nice.
And it has disadvantage while I'm in line of sight of it to attack rolls and ability checks.
This is an interesting. It is so This is literally what Frozen by Fear is.
Yes.
Yes.
It's being told to run, but it is also being told to stay, and it is too afraid to know what to do. And it's a friggin' tree. 8 piercing damage. But it's not immune. There's nothing on the sheet, especially that says, like, hey, tree blights are immune to fear and shit. So, cool. And yeah, that's it for its turn.
I mean, it can try to attack me, or it can try to shrug off the fear, one of the two.
Didn't the first fear say it can't try to? Oh, but it's at disadvantage if it does.
Yeah.
Well, it says
so.
let's see. As an action, the creature can make a wisdom check against your spell DC to steal its resolve and end the effect. But since it's an ability check, it would do so at disadvantage.
Okay.
While it can see me.
With your stopping hit, that stops its movement for the rest of the turn, right?
Its movement is 0 for the rest of the turn.
Nice.
Let me link that.
Sure. It rolled a 17 on its wisdom save. I don't think it has a plus. It's a
and that was with disadvantage?
Oh, no, not with disadvantage. One more roll. Yeah, actually with disadvantage. Yikes, with a 19 on the second one.
Okay, well, it makes it save.
Okay.
I'm really surprised.
Right? Jeez, green dice.
It's a wise old tree.
Right. Let me see.
But it still can't move.
Yeah, it has a +0. Yeah, but it still can't move, so that's it for its turn. It took the action to make the wisdom save. You see the fear fade from its bark. Something. I guess the best way I would think to translate that is like the branches, rather than being like tensed up and looking like they're in a stiff wind being blown away from you as though every limb is straining to get away, all of that relaxes and it kind of, the limbs curl toward you in a very threatening, looming manner. I suppose I should get rid of Artesia's turn. Boop. And her mini as well. To Davian, who kind of rushes to the spot where Artesia was and looks around in a panic.
Well, don't forget his broken ankle.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. He starts... no, actually. Yeah, he gets up from where he was and goes over there and starts looking for Artesia. You note that he has no limp.
Huh.
Make a wisdom check for me, Vin, since we're on the subject. Keen eyes and good memory.
21.
Oh, yeah. You recall, though Kelvin doesn't, you recall the fight with your brother in arms, if you will, and you remember his wounds regenerated.
Oh.
You're fairly certain Davian, as a were-raven, or at least you assume a natural-born one, or something, you'd never seen this in a cursed one before, this regeneration like this. He was apparently healed. So he runs over and looks to this spot in a panic, like he's looking at the air and at nothing. There's nothing peculiar about what he's looking for. But he does waste his entire turn, like, looking in this area where she had just been standing. Or where she had run to before the thing leapt on her.
Okay.
On to the druid's turn. They try to Thunderwave you again. So make that save twice. It was Constitution, I believe, for Thunderwave.
Yes, that's what you said. 22.
Yep. Fine.
And a 1.
Ooh, okay. So the first one they rolled pretty high, so on the first one you'll only take, this is already halved. Math?
Well, half on one of them, full on the other.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, this one's already halved.
Oh, okay.
So 6 damage on that one. And it does not push you. The other druid, at full health and full capabilities, rolls all of 3. Does 3 damage, but you are shoved 15 feet.
Oh, crap.
So, which essentially, the best way to show that would be to do this. Because you are Basically, you are 15 feet away from that block, and now 15 feet from the winery.
Okay.
And I cannot remember, to be perfectly honest, if you're knocked prone. Let me look at this. Automatically pushed. I'm sorry, 10 feet away, not 15.
Okay.
So, nope, you're not knocked prone. You're able to land deftly on your feet. You are just kind of shoved backwards on this wave of thunderous force. And the druid that hit you with it looks smug and tosses a potion as a bonus action to his buddy, who drinks it as their bonus action, and they gain 10 hit points.
Bastard.
He no longer looks bloodied either. The
Great.
druid in front of Kaidos spends half his movement to stand up. If I can get the thing to spin correctly. Almost there. There we go. And swings at Kaidos with his shillelagh'd quarterstaff and misses horribly. Vin, to you.
Well, I will move back up to Dumb and Dumber here. And going for the guy who has my hunter's mark.
Okay.
Attack number 1 is a 16.
Right on the money, yeah.
And the other is a natural 20.
Nice. Oh, there's another crit. That's
So
3 crits in one night.
that's
I love it. Everybody's
damage.
getting one.
Plus that. Plus... I think I'm going to obliterate him. Plus 10.
It's wisdom modifier.
It is your wisdom. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 16.
Good find, sir.
That's
Thank you.
22, 23.
Oh, yeah, you obliterate him. For reference, he had
Wow.
17 hit points left. So,
Wow.
how do you want to murder this druid, Vin?
Where would he have hit me with that thunderous... I guess it just all hits all over the thunderous wave. So, I think I'd just like to take him neatly through the neck. Twice. Because that was 2 attacks. And then for my bonus action, I'll put my hunter's mark on the other one.
I like
Hello?
it. Clean. It's clean.
Is
Yep.
that is what I was
I'm
thinking.
sorry, I didn't realize I was muted. Now I'm doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the first stab basically runs through the windpipe, so you get the gagging, and then the second stab is just like a further lunge. Really, all you do is just like you lunge and step. The blade tip enters through his throat, and you adjust your footing, and just further all the way, the rest of the way through into the spinal cord and out through the back, and it just slumps. The body slumps off the end of your short sword.
Aren't you glad you took that potion now?
The other druid
And I'll look over at the other druid.
looks a little bit rattled because he's got just 1 or 2 little flecks of blood from where his friend coughed up on his face, and he just glowers at you and grimaces.
Oh, she'll be smiling at him. And that's
Kelvin.
all I can do.
All right, Kelvin, to you, sir.
All right. Calvin does his trademark sniffing of the air, which
Right.
is something he'd always done, and now it seems more fitting.
Right?
He sniffs the air and says, "I applaud your resolve. Now realize its folly." And cast Wrathful Smite on his mace again with those words, and goes in for a swing.
All right.
Let's see. That's a
Ah.
miss.
Yep.
That's fine. It still it doesn't get discharged until I hit.
Right. Gotta love that.
Going again.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
we're just gonna double those up. Fantastic.
Yeah, as you swing at it, the branches come down in that defensive dance that we all do but can't quite see. all in our imaginations, I suppose. But yeah, the branches come down and basically hit the head of the mace or the head of the Morning Star away. It just starts whirling them all around, very much in that kind of whipping motion you can see in its own miniature there. Anything else, Kelvin?
No, that'll do it.
All right. Kaidos.
All right. Well, this monk getting back up, resisting my attacks is starting to aggravate me. And as I discover that it is a key save, not a specific any one item, right? And so anything that they have to save against, if it's a key action, they have to save it against my key save.
Oh, okay.
Which is 8 plus proficiency bonus plus wisdom modifier.
Gotcha.
So that's my key. So 8, 9, 10, 11. And wisdom is 2 more, right?
Right. So
you said proficiency was supposed to be 3, correct?
Should be for this level, yes.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 is the save. But he is going to swing at this one again. And it's not really a swing as much as it is I start to swing and then I stab with the quarterstaff butt end.
Nice.
As they're getting up.
Oh yeah, that definitely connects.
For 4.
All right. 4.
And then the swing as he bring it around and bring the bottom side up. Quarterstaff moves, man.
For sure, yeah.
And it misses because the butt end knocked their face so far backwards that when he swung it around, he just whoosh.
Yeah.
And missed and was like, ah. And then,
Good visual.
Yeah, I love it.
And then took a second to regain composure.
Okay.
And that's his turn.
All right. The tree blight. Kelvin, those whipping branches, of course, come straight for you. And there's just a lot of them. So we'll start with the grasping roots. It does try to grapple you yet again. Oh, at the start of its turn, I'm sorry. Should have done this last turn too, because it is still on fire. So there we go. It has taken now a total of 10 fire damage extra since it's still been on fire. Needed to note that. So yeah, start of his turn to take some fire damage. And the grasping roots come up to attack. That's a natural 1. Wonderful. Okay, and I'm guessing a 14 doesn't quite make it?
What are you talking about? I'm unarmored. That's...
We had your shield and a dex. I didn't know about... I don't know if Kelvin had any dex.
Shield and dex, I'm sitting at a 14.
Right at. Okay. So yeah, he grapples you with one of the roots, and then he swings with 2 branches. One is a... what is that? 12 plus 9. Yeah, a lot and a lot. And now...
I'm going to need those damages separately, please.
Not a problem. The first one... Okay. Has to be... Oh, if the target is grappled, can also make a bite attack against that target as a bonus action. It's reading its multi-attack. Okay, so... the first branch is... Wow, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 6 plus... That is... 12... Yeah, 12 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
The second branch is...
Okay, I lose the spell. I don't need them separate anymore.
Okay. So let's see. We'll go ahead and roll, see if the bite hits. The bite does not, because that's only a 4. Yeah, so it's a 13. But from the second branch, you will take... Sorry, mathing. Brain. Poop. 17 bludgeoning damage.
All right, so 29 total.
Yes.
All right.
Ouch.
And yeah, the bite misses. You manage to, as it brings that big gaping trunk at you, and you can see almost like a gullet, that glowing green gem encrusted in the wood there, just barely visible through the cracks in the grain. And this big gnarled pointed teeth trying to close in on you. You manage to very picturesquely get your hands on either side of the jaw and keep it open around yourself.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Nice.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying. Okay, so I'm holding the jaws open.
Yeah. Still have the mace in your hand. You're still, you're good. You're still armed.
Sure.
Mace. Morningstar. It's Eric. It's my protagonist's favorite weapon when he starts too, and
Yeah.
I'd still say mace. Davian will scream no and run forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops, I grabbed the wrong token.
He actually should have been.
No, 6 should have been here.
He should have been there to begin with.
Oh, is that?
Because that's where Artesia was.
Yeah, that's true. She
he
only made
should've-
it a few steps, so.
He should be right there and then move.
4. He gets to here and casts Burning Hands.
Before he does that, as he's running up, I call to him, Elder, can you grab the gem while I hold his maw open?
You might not have called that because it seems to be well beneath quite a bit of wood. Like you as a muscly man might have trouble getting it, would have significant trouble just looking at it with your bare fingers. So
All right.
would you still call that to him? Because he might try. I just figure
Well,
to give you a better visual.
I figure he knows what this gem is about. He knows what these druids are about. If he has magics to loosen it, or some command words, or if it's just a matter of touching it and saying the right thing, then he would know better than I would.
Fair enough.
And I'm just saying, hey, there's a relatively clear shot if you can do something with it.
This is actually the first time he's been close enough or at the right angle to see it. You've been pretty much staring down its mouth this entire time. And when
Right.
you say that and point it out, he looks in and he goes, "That's mine!" And just lets the fucking burning hands go. But you notice as he does this that the flames arc above where he had been pointing. Basically, he had pointed it right at the middle, and that could have very easily caught the gem itself. But so he kind of arcs the flames up, and it catches even more of the branches. Because one bottle of gin is only going to do so much,
Sure.
So he just whoosh, torches the branches and does an extra, well, not extra, but does another 15 points of damage to it. And that will be it for his turn. The druid, we'll start with the one closest, tries to disengage from Vin and goes running for the tree. Vin, you get an attack of opportunity.
I will take that attack of opportunity.
All right.
And that is a 23.
Damn. Yeah, that hits.
And yeah, that's so plus 5. 12.
12 points of damage. Very nice. You gash his thigh pretty deeply as he turns away from you. You notice he even drops his shillelagh'd staff, which just reverts back into a normal, walking stick quarterstaff. And he is just all out sprinting toward the tree blight.
There was no way I could kind of block him.
Mm-mm. Not unless you had a reaction that allows you to do so, like Kelvin does. You were able to do significant damage to him, though.
Damn it. Where is my spell sheet? No. Okay. Nothing that would help in this situation.
Okay. Moves its 30 feet, and which means we'll just close that down to Vin. She's about 30 feet away now.
Well, don't worry. I'll be following him.
Oh, I know. On your turn. Oh,
Well,
you're next.
My turn is next.
Yeah, that's very true. So we'll just delete that because we know you're going to be tailing him. He leaps at the tree bodily and slams into it. And you see him clutch at the wound that you made on his thigh. And he raises his hand up, smeared in this arterial blood, and just slaps it across the tree and speaks something in Druidic that you don't recognize.
He's healing
And
the tree.
all of the flames go out.
Ah, damn him.
As though some gale force wind just whipped through the branches and put them all out. The tree, might I add, is in terrible shape. Terrible shape. I think I had noted at the end of last week, and forgot to bring it up at the beginning of this session, the tree was bloodied, or sappied, if you will.
Sappied. I like.
So at the beginning of the session tonight, that tree was bloodied, so this tree is looking in very poor condition, but the fire does go out. And the druid falls limp at the base of the tree.
He just went away.
Well, he died. So his miniature went away. Yeah,
okay.
Like he falls so limp at the base of the tree as this, like, you can tell that, like, whatever he did with this magic was some disgusting sacrifice of his own to try and keep the tree alive.
Gotcha.
And, like, yeah, when he falls back on the ground, you can see his face has gone super pale and has these purpley black lines where his veins should be, and his eyes have already rolled back in his head, and he looks extra gaunt. It's like the tree sucked the life out of him.
That's probably exactly what happened.
All right, it is your turn.
All right, well, I'm running up to stupid tree.
You run up to stupid tree.
I run up to stupid tree.
All right.
Put my hunter's mark on him as my bonus action, and then I will attack him.
Okay.
Okie dokie, so. Plus 8 with these, so. 21.
Hit.
And a 21.
Nice.
And so 2 attacks, that's plus 10. That's 21, 22, 28.
Damn, 28 points of damage. Right. So, you... if you don't mind, I'd like to describe this kill.
Go right... Oh, I killed it. Good.
Oh, yeah.
Go right ahead.
So, you come sprinting after this druid, just hot on his tail, and he is probably about 10 feet ahead of you when he kind of drops and rolls back. Your momentum is still moving forward. And you're like, well, there's another target right behind him. And so you unsheath both swords, or you turn both swords forward in the kind of dagger stabbing grip, and just both feet off the ground leap at the tree. And both points of your swords land just deep into the wood. And let's see. Yeah. As the points of the sword explode out of the back of this thing's quote-unquote throat, Kelvin, they dislodge the stone, and it comes skittering into its now coming to a rest open mouth that just kind of hangs creakily backwards, like this tree is about to split in half and just fall over. But the entire thing becomes completely inert as all of the energy that was sustaining it is disconnected, and that green gemstone, about the size of your fist, Kelvin, is just sitting there in its open mouth, humming with green energy.
Yep. Ow.
Can I do one last thing on my turn?
Mm-hmm.
I want to kind of kick the body of the druid that was there and say, aren't you glad you gave up your life now?
Very nice. Okay. Kelvin, Though, yeah, we're still in initiative, so on to you.
All right. So, take a scrap of cloth off my shirt. Just take and tear,
Okay.
and use that to scoop up the gem, and then I would turn heads up and toss it over to Davian.
Davian catches it, and just a big smile on his face as he looks at it. He just kind of lets the cloth scrap fall to the ground, and he holds it plainly in his hand, and he rolls it over and over. He says, "Oh, this has been in my family for generations. It's good to have it back." And then he kind of looks up and makes the briefest of eye contact with Kelvin, and the smile flickers for a second, and he tucks it into his pocket, and turns to look at the druid, and casts... Oh, it's not his turn yet, sorry. Go ahead. Got caught up in it.
Oh, no, that was pretty much all my turn. So,
Okay.
just grab it, take it, toss it.
Gotcha. Kairos.
The centering has achieved energy, and he's ready to lash out once again.
All right. Yeah.
Nice.
Let's see, where's my... Oh, there it goes. For that.
Oh, very nice.
And again, the second time, with a substantial blow.
Whoa!
Hell yeah, it is. Oh!
And he decides that he's going to use his last key energy.
Can I stop you there?
Do that. Oh, okay.
How would you like to kill him with that last blow? That second quarterstaff attack is enough to kill this druid. You just want to brain him? Just...
As he prepares for that palm technique, he realizes that over the head hit with the quarterstaff, the druid has just crumpled
Yeah.
and fallen down.
And with that, I believe our fight is over.
I'm surprised you didn't tear into him like a speed bag before he hit the ground.
I tried. The GM said, whoa, speed bagging. No speed bagging allowed tonight.
I just wondered if, it was just more of a, you might want to keep that key point. I mean, unless you want to go full Mel Gibson in The Patriot, like, you're more than welcome.
It's okay.
But yeah, so the last druid, like you said, goes limp beneath I would say like a temple blow, probably, upside the head. And the tree is just kind of lazily creaking in the wind anymore. And just...
Dang it.
After
Like
a few
that one
moments, probably a minute or two, it finally loses the rest of its balance that had been teetering oddly on this huge pulled up root pile, and it just grunch all the way to the ground.
Firewood.
Yeah, I say, Elder, can you do the honors? I do have a promise to keep, and I keep my promise.
Yeah, Davian relights the tree, this time with a firebolt or two, because it's a cantrip.
Sure.
I'm
I
going.
will spend the next however long collecting a shit ton of ash to be made into war paint.
For sure.
I am going to chop heads. Since Kelvin is busy.
Gathering the bodies of the druids, you mean?
No, I'm not gathering them. I am chopping their heads off. They could come back. You never know what happens in this place.
You never know.
I know that's my premise.
That's why we get along so well.
No.
Oh, we're out of initiative, right?
Correct.
Based on this discussion about gems and things like that, I would do the honors of rifling through the dead bodies as personal belongings
Okay.
to see if there's any maps or any. I mean, I say that just initially thinking, but anything that would lead us to home for the druid or toward the resting place of the jewel, anything that would help guide us.
As a matter of fact, the druid that you had been fighting had in his pocket a very crudely drawn, like charcoal on birch bark map that you, as you look at it, you recognize there's a V for Valaki out to your east. There's a W for the winery where you are, and and there's just basically a dotted line for where the Sphalic Road is, and then to the southwest, mostly to the south, so southwest, there is a simple, like, just a black tree drawn on top of a little hill. And it looks like it's about as far to this place, if this map scale is at all accurate, which they're druids, so it might be. It's about as far to this hill as it is to Valaki. Let me double check my world map here.
That's pretty close, then, eh?
It was pretty close. About 6
Sure,
hours.
I would share that with crowd and probably give it to what's his name? Dagon?
Davian?
Davian.
Dagon.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I got a little bit of old world mythic running in the back of my head. Mythos.
I understand.
Davian. Yeah, I would probably, bring it to his attention and hand it to him to, be wise about.
It's actually, I apologize, quick retcon. Not quite 6 hours away, it's closer to like 3. It's more like from the winery to Van Richten's tower, which is not marked on this map, but so it's about 3 hours away. But yeah, Davian says he's familiar with the path that goes to the southwest to the woods and is somewhat familiar with Yesterhill, but he hasn't personally laid eyes on it in, he thinks, something like 15 or 20 years. And it's only been the last 6 months, 8 months or so the druids started harassing me. This is obviously the worst they've done.
Plenty of time for a large black tree to make its home.
Oh, that tree has always been there. I can tell you that much.
Yes, I get that sense of it as well.
It's ancient
As
then.
do I.
Davian just nods darkly. It's older than
I
the
have
devil
seen it.
himself.
Who's injured?
Very.
Yes.
Kelvin is increased. Got the shit beat out of him.
All right, I'm going to cast Healing Spirit.
All right.
And I
And we'll
think...
just hang around in it because it's like a D6 around, so we all just sort of hang out.
Sure.
Yep,
Yeah, especially out of
pretty
initiative.
much.
That's not a problem at all.
yeah. Yeah. Last 1 minute.
Yeah, works for me.
What does it
Thank
do?
you.
Yeah.
Because there's 10 rounds in a minute, I believe.
I got another
Yeah.
one here.
Unless you want to use another
5,
spell
10.
slot, but
So 24.
it's a nice spell.
Plus another 18. So
All right, I'm full
we,
up.
we should all be full up at that.
Yeah,
You
if Kelvin's
said-
full, I would hope.
You
Yeah.
said 24 and 18?
So 42.
Yep. 42.
More than enough.
Nice.
How long did you say that takes?
A
A
minute.
minute.
Oh, okay. Not long at all then.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
A little long for a fight. Useful still in a fight, obviously. little long for a fight to get that. It's not a burst heal, but in this particular instance, it rather is.
Right. Well, why use the potions? When we
sure.
can use them at other times.
Right.
I can only do one more of those before resting.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was leaning toward thoughts of.
The druids call that place, Yester Hill.
Now, this gem that was in the tree, is that the one that you knew the druids took to yesterday?
Yes.
Or is this one of the others?
This is
Because you said there were 3.
There were 3. One went missing long ago, though I have the distinct feeling I just discovered where it went. Though I don't entirely understand exactly who or where or why, but as he holds the one that he's got in his hand, he says, "One I know the druids took. I assume it is this one, probably to make this monstrosity," and he points at Winter Splinter. He says, "Another I know went to a witch. It's the one whose name I won't speak. Her scarecrows. I know she has one of them. The third was a mystery, stolen years and years ago, before even I owned the winery. My father's was the one that lost it, and he had no idea where it went. But we saw 2 stones tonight. Your friend's spidery attacker. The green stone within it. That was
I
mine.
I asked him if there's any way for him to perform some sort of detection on as far as a detect magic
On that
to
one?
know like where it would have taken her, or like somehow some kind of like following detection spell or something along those lines.
Yes,
Is that
I
a
agree.
thing?
He nods.
My brothers, we found that these things were more often linked than not.
He nods and
You have one.
he says, "That's how I know the druids took this one. When it went missing, I acted quickly enough. They didn't conceal it from me. Even now, they still hadn't. I acted quickly enough when the witch took it from me as well. Before she concealed it from me, and now I can no longer locate it. This one has been lost to all of my magic every time." I
guess I was thinking more of along the lines of a find Artesia, like, hey, here's one of Artesia's beads that's on the ground that fell off when the necklace.
I can certainly try to locate her that way. If you have a piece of her or some belonging of hers.
Hold on, here's her thumb.
Oh. God.
He's like, okay, first off, that's the druid's thumb. Second off...
Sorry.
Second off, I meant like a lock of her hair, maybe fingernail clipping, maybe a glass she drank out of. Anybody share
upstairs?
A wineskin with her?
Upstairs. She had breakfast.
Perhaps some of her belongings are still upstairs. Yes, let's go inside and see what we can find. And that is where we will stop for tonight.